today I'll be showing some of the core features of Laravel Nightwatch and how to install it into your existing Laravel applications and how it works behind the scenes if I have some time. So let's jump into the demo. So this is Laravel Nightwatch dashboard. By the way, this is not an open source project. It's a SaaS paid product, but you can install Nightwatch package into your Laravel application, and you can see all your applications metrics in this dashboard. So here you can have multiple organizations and multiple. Each organization can have multiple applications, and each application has multiple environments, such as staging or production. So in this demo, I'm going to use Skywatch application and production environment. Skywatch production. Oh, no. Okay. So this is the dashboard, and it gives you high-level overview of your application's health. Like you can see the number of requests based on the status code 200, 400, 500 status code, and you can also see the duration, average duration, and P95 duration. P95 is in 95 percentile of the duration, which means that 95% of your requests are faster than this number. You can also see some exceptions that occur in the application and some slow routes that are over the threshold. You can also see the job attempt, processed, released, failed. You can see the job duration as well, and some of the server stats, like CPU, memory usage, and you can see the users that are making requests to this application, and the number of authenticated versus non-unauthenticated users here. So this is the high-level overview of the application, and you can see more detailed information about your application. So let's go to the request here. So this is the, this gives you information or health of all the requests. You can see the same stats here as you saw in the dashboard, and you can see all of the routes in your Laravel application here. So for each route, you can see the number of request count for each status code, 200, 400, 500, the total count as well, the average and P95 for each route. You can also sort by those numbers. And if I go to one of the route here, maybe I'll go to this get destination route. So you can see the scoped down version of the view just for this route. So those requests and durations are the numbers just for this slash destination route. And then you can also see the individual requests made to this route, and you can filter by the average, the request over the average or P95. So let's look at one of the requests here. So this is the individual request details, and you can see all of the details about this request, such as path or response size and duration and server that processed this request, and how many queries this request runs and stuff like that. You can also see the user that made a request, that made this request. And here's the timeline view where you can see what happened in this request. You can see there's a bootstrap of the application, and you can see that there's a database query in the middleware layer, and there are some cache events and database queries in the controller. And here you can see there's a cache miss event. So this cache key popular destination didn't hit. That's why it had to run this slow database query, which took 1.47 seconds. So this is the reason why this specific request is slow, and it had to write to the cache. So if I go back to this destinations here, and let's look at one of the first requests here. So as you can see, in this example, cache hit, and we didn't have to run the slow query. So that's why it's fast. Okay, let's go back to the request page, home page again. Let's look at this post-flights route. And then we'll just look at one of the top one. And this is the post endpoint. And you can see that, so again, you can see the queries and all of those stuff. And here in the controller, this controller dispatched the job to the queue, process flag. And you can also see the job detail in the same timeline view, because the request and jobs share the same trace ID. So you can see the end-to-end activity happened in this request, including the background jobs. So in this process flight job, there are 3 attempts: attempt 1, attempt 2, attempt 3, and in this job, there's this database queries and exception happen here. Okay, so this is how you can see all of the details in your request in the timeline view, and you can see pretty much the same information for other applications entry points, such as jobs, artisan commands, or scheduled tasks. So if you go to one of the jobs, so you can see the number of processed, released, failed count for each job. If I go to this job, then you can see each individual attempt here. And you can also see the same view for this particular route. And you can also see where this job was dispatched from. Okay, so there's some more stuff. If I go to the queries page, you can see all of the database queries happen in your application. You can sort by the number of calls and total duration, or average duration, stuff like that. And if I go to this specific query, select stuff from tickets where user ID is something, and these are the individual execution of the queries. And you can see where this query came from. And when you click on this request, you can see that this query came from this controller. And then, as you can see, this is an N+1 problem. So this easily you can identify those N+1 problem in Nightwatch. Okay, so Nightwatch also provides logs. Nightwatch package, Composer package provides log driver, so you can specify your Laravel application's log driver to Nightwatch, and all of your application's log goes to Nightwatch. So it's kind of like reverse infinite scrolling, where you can see the latest log at the bottom, and you can scroll from bottom to top to see the older logs. It's kind of like actual log file. And you can also see where these logs come from, like from the artisan command or request. And you can also see the log level. And if I go to this emergency log, click on request, you can see where this log comes from. And you can also see other logs that are logged in this particular request. Okay, so let's jump onto issues. So Nightwatch also provides error tracking. So whenever an exception happens in your application, Nightwatch automatically creates an issue and notifies you via email or Slack or whatever. And let's look at the first exception here. So you can see the stack trace of your exception, and first scene, last scene, and then you can also see the recent occurrences here. You can mute this issue if you don't want to fix this, then you can resolve it. And you can also leave some comments about this issue. And if you click on request in one of the recent occurrences, it takes you to the original request that caused this exception. So with this, you can easily find out where the exception happened for this issue. And if I go to slow route issue, so you can basically configure the threshold of your application, and you can configure like global threshold or route-specific threshold. So in this example, this issue means that this get flight ID endpoint exceeded 1 second threshold, and you can see the actual recent occurrences here. So these are kind of slow routes. Yeah, you can also, of course, you can see the details of this request. Okay, so one last thing I wanted to show here is the users section. So you can see all of the users that makes a request to your application. You can see the summary of each user, like top routes, this user hit, slow routes, and the individual request, where you can see it's kind of like an activity log for this specific user. So I think it's also helpful for customer support as well. Okay, so this is the demo and how you can install this to your application. So here, if I create a new application on Nightwatch, I'm gonna just go with maybe Tokyo, and you can specify the environment name. And for now, we only support US West region, but we're gonna add more regions later. And what you need to do is to install the Laravel Nightwatch Composer package into your Laravel application and add this Nightwatch token environment variable. And if you want to send your logs to Nightwatch, set the log channel to Nightwatch, and then run this PHP artisan Nightwatch agent command so that you can capture all the information of your Laravel application and send it to Nightwatch backend. Okay, so this is pretty simple to install, and let me just quickly talk about how it works behind the scenes. So this is the high-level overview of everything in Nightwatch, and on the left-hand side, this is your Laravel application, and it might be running in multiple Laravel applications, multiple servers, and in each server you install the Nightwatch package and run that agent process. And so on every request, for a job, Nightwatch package collects the performance metrics and send it to this local agent process. And the agent process batches up the data and send it to the Nightwatch ingest infrastructure. And there's some data processing here, and the data ends up in the ClickHouse database, which is an analytical database we are using. And you can see the data in the Nightwatch application. Now let's zoom into your Laravel application here. So you might be running your application in multiple servers, and in this specific server, there's some web processes and queue workers and schedulers and commands and whatnot. So every time the Laravel application receives a request, the Nightwatch package hooks into Laravel's various events, such as query executed and stuff like that, and collect the performance metrics. And after sending the request, response back to the user. It sends the data to the local agent process, Artisan Nightwatch agent, and agent batches buffers the data for 10 seconds or until it reaches the 8 megabyte threshold, whichever comes first, and then the agent gzips the data and sends it to the Nightwatch infrastructure. So this is how it works, and we're still working on it, and we just started early access early this year. One of the early access customers here, and if you want to try this out first, you can sign up for early access at nightwatchlaravel.com, and we're aiming to publicly launch it sometime in May. And that's all I have today. Thank you very much. And today we've got some gifts from the Laravel team. We've got some hats and t-shirts. Actually, today's drink and food are sponsored by Laravel team as well. Some pizzas should be coming soon, I think. Yeah, I ordered pizza. So I think you got the card with the QR code. And if you look at the back of the paper, you can find the number. So we'll use that number for the lucky draw, for the gift. So we're gonna give the five person some gifts. So I'm going to open my Tinkerwell here and generate a random number.
But then anyone missing the QR code?
Yeah. So we've got numbers between 1 and 260. So I'm going to run this function, the very popular PHP function, 5 times. So first, 36. Oh, congrats. This is the box, and then we've got crafted by artisans. And you can come and choose what you want. So we've got some PHP and Laravel hats and some t-shirt. Which size do you want? S is, I think there's L.